All right, what is up, everybody? Good evening. Welcome to Raven's Nest Entertainment to Sunday Night Street Fight. I am Paper Zombie, your host for this session, and oh boy, here we go. Today is the day I play the one game that I rarely play on stream, and that is Street Fighter 5. So, why am I about to play this thing on stream? Well, usually I watch streams that normally have Street Fighter in them, and or I should say, I watch streams that have Street Fighter in them, and I've often noticed that most of the time, and this is most of the time. There's some people that do it, but most of the time, people just are playing, and you're just watching, and you don't really know what the people are doing or how they're able to do it. So I figured that I would go ahead and do something that's more of like, say, a walking, talking, living tutorial on this game. Like this is just how I approach the game as someone who started playing this game when you could only play it when it was in an arcade cabinet and you had to put in quarters. Like you couldn't even play it at home. So we all remember those days. So I'm a veteran, but I am by no means a pro. There's a difference. A veteran is somebody who's played the series all throughout its history, like myself. And a pro is somebody who lives, breathes, eats, and craps this game. And that is not me. So, not by any means. But a veteran can definitely teach you how to play. So, we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So, first thing, if you've never played Street Fighter before, all that stuff is pretty much just like announcements that are telling you what's going on in the game. So, like, it'll tell you what's going on in challenges. Challenges are like little missions. Like if you go on your missions, for this is just for people who don't know. This is like these are your missions that you can do. So perform a combo 10 times. It's only 7. I'm not going to be able to pull that one off, so no worries. But you do a combo 10 times and it gives you 50 points. You view a demonstration. So that's easy to do. These are character specific. And these are specific to the character named G. And what you need to do is he just got a brand new costume, which Street Fighter has been doing like a little combination between another game called Fighting Layer EX. And they were a company that actually did the EX versions of Street Fighter, which are the 3D versions of Street Fighter, way back in PS2 days. So they have a new game out now, and it's all of their characters that they created for the EX games, but they're not the Street Fighter related characters. And so Street Fighter has been showing love to them, and they've been putting costumes in the game that are based on characters from that game. And Skullomania is one of them. So for G, you can actually go and earn costume colors for his new Skullomania costume. And then you can actually play arcade mode and get a score of that, and you'll get a little reward, which is just a title. All right, boring, right? Let's get to the point. All right, so what we're all here for. When it comes to Street Fighter, people always want to know, okay, how do I choose a character? So when it comes to choosing a character, the way that I've often approached it is that Street Fighter normally breaks their game down. Let's see. Like Street Fighter would technically, they like the way their roster breaks down is let's go into the roster. Where's the roster? I need the roster. Let's go into training, because this is where you'll spend a whole lot of time at. Like getting your moves down, getting your combos down. But pretty much I'm going in here right now. I'm going to show you something that look at the roster. Grid. Alright, so when it comes to Street Fighter's roster, the way that the characters rate as far as like in my mind is that you go from you start at one end of the spectrum with hard-hitting characters. And those include your brawler and grappler type characters. So and what brawlers and grapplers are they're characters that normally hit hard. Like that's kind of what they do. Like they hit hard, and then grapplers they use grabbing techniques, for lack of a better term, as their moveset. So those characters in this game are going to be for your brawlers and grapplers. You're going to be looking at, where is he at? Well, Zangief has been around for a long time, and he's the classic brawler grappler. Like he used to be the go-to brawler grappler. He was the first one. He was the only one in 2. From Street Fighter 3, we have Alex. He's more of a brawler, but he's also dependent on his grab move. And so he's a brawler, but he's got his grapple. So let's see who's next. We've got, as far as another kind of like brawler grappler type, is BIRDIE. Now, he is a brawler grappler type because, hold on just a second. All right, sorry about that, everybody. All right, so then you're gonna have BIRDIE. Let's see, BALROG. Where are you, buddy? Some of these characters, like, I have no idea where they are on the roster. BALROG. This is another hard-hitting character, brawler grappler type. Then you even got some females in this category. Armika. That's gonna be, please excuse those. They're hard not to look at, right? She's your brawler grappler. And then Honda is more of a brawler, less of a grappler, though he does have some grappling moves, but his moves do not revolve around his grapple like, say, Alex and Zangief. Like, they begin with their grapple, they end with the grapple, so they're more dependent on theirs, whereas Honda, not so much. He's more dependent on his hard-hitting moves to get in and crush people. And so is BALROG. Like, he's more about getting in on a person and then hitting them quick. So those are going to be your brawler type characters, or your brawler grappler type characters, and these are your hard hitters. And what they usually like to do is, for your hard hitting characters, the benefits is that their single hits hit hard. Their walk speed is actually pretty good. It's in the normal range, so you're not getting any minuses there. And each of them has at least one regular non-V skill or V-trigger attack that has armor or penetration on it. Alex is actually the only one, I believe, who actually has penetration on his move. Actually, he does, and then I take that back. Alex does, Zeku does, and Seth does. But as far as the hard hitters go, for their basic moves, what penetration is, the difference between armor and penetration is that penetration like cancels out a move and then continues to hit the opponent if they're close enough. The bad news is that depending on what strength you use, the opponent can recover faster. So if the opponent can recover too fast, then they can attack you before you could follow up, do anything else. So it's better to have a move that has armor on it. I mean, penetration is cool if you know what moves to use it and your ranges and stuff, which is something that gets learned over time. But you want armor usually, and armor is better because what happens is when you get hit and you've got armor up, it actually absorbs the hit, and then it puts you at an advantage to let go of your attack. Usually armored attacks are twofold. show you what I mean by that.
On here, Cyclone!
Exciting.
Allow me a moment to entertain you.
Zeku is ready to entertain.
Muscle is always waiting to be trained.
Yeah, that's about it. Okay, so as you can see, I've got
It
all
looks
the
like
stuff
I'll
up there.
have to.
Let's turn all that off for right now. Pretty much, that's all attack data. That's telling me how much damage
Don't
my
waste
attack
your
does,
breath.
how much stun it does. Pretty much, stun is, you see that golden bar all the way at the top? Underneath that is another meter that's completely empty. As you get hit, that meter fills up.
It
That's
looks
your
like
stun
I'll
meter.
have to train.
And when it reaches full, your character goes into a stun state.
Don't
where
waste
they're
your
dizzy
breath.
for a couple of seconds, and the opponent has full advantage over you. Then combos, how many hits are your combos? Damage scaling, which is how much your damage scales.
It looks
during
like
your
I'll
combo.
have to train you.
After your combos hit a certain point,
Don't waste your breath.
then they actually start to suffer from diminishing returns. So it's to keep you from doing combos that can literally take a person from like 0 to 100.
It looks like I'll
And then
have to
attack
train
level
you.
is gonna tell you, like, was it a
Don't.
light attack, medium attack, or heavy attack? And then frame advantage, we'll get into that a little bit later. Like, I know a lot of this is very
It
overwhelming.
looks like I'll have.
So what we're gonna do is turn that off. Turn that off.
Train.
So now we have none of that. So now let's go back to the basics that I
Don't
was
waste
talking
your
about.
breath.
Hello there, Crow. How are you? All right, so this is what the difference is between armor. Now, Zangief as a regular move, as a grappler,
It looks like I'll
has a
have to
basic
train
move
you.
that is not a V skill.
Don't waste your breath.
Which, if you notice, you see the V down there that's sparkling down at the bottom left corner. And it says V in the center, then it has skill, and then it has trigger.
It looks like I'll
That's what I'm
have
talking
to
about when
train
I say
you.
V skill or V trigger. Like, without having to use those,
Don't waste your
these
breath.
characters have a move that has armor. Zangief's is his Fierce Punch. See that wind up? Now, he can do it fast, or
It looks like I'll
can
have
wind
to
up.
train you.
Now, when you wind
Don't
up like
waste
that,
your
if you
breath.
get hit, that gives you armor. That move has armor behind it. So, say the person jumped in and they hit me. If I can get him to do it. Come on, buddy. Okay, that red sparkle that you saw, was that hit of armor. So when he came in, he attacked me, and that red hit was the armor. And
It looks
then
like I'll
you let
have
go
to train you.
after that red hit of armor, and you
Don't
hit.
waste.
So, and you do have to time that. And that's one thing with these moves and when it comes to the heavy hitters and the brawler grapplers. Also,
looks
another
like
thing
I'll
when it comes
have
to
to
the heavy
train
hitters and the
you.
brawler grapplers.
Don't waste
said,
your
what is
breath.
Zeku? Zeku is, this is actually Guy from Final Fight. This is his master. Give me one moment,
It
please.
looks like I'll
I
have
think my
to
stuff
train
is running
you.
in overdrive here.
Don't waste your breath. It looks like I'll have to
Nothing
train
mess
you.
that up. I can't see.
Don't
my
waste your
YouTube.
breath.
If I can't see my YouTube, I can't see my chat. This always seems to be a problem. It's all right though. It's not a stream without it.
It looks like I'll have to train you. Don't waste your breath.
Oops.
It looks like I'll have to
train
train
here, so we can keep.
Don't waste your breath. It looks like I'll have to train you.
All right. Ah, Zelda,
Don't
welcome
waste
to the
your
stream.
breath.
I just got everything back up and running. I had the silly thing in reverse and it just blew up on me. All right.
It looks like I'll have to train you. Don't waste your breath.
All right, so we left off talking about heavy hitting. So, like I said, walk speed, not bad. Like, that's your normal walk speed.
It looks like I'll have to
and then
train you.
normally,
Don't
your
waste your
attack
breath.
speed is going to start out at normal and then work its way down to slow. You're not going to have any fast attacks with a brawler, grappler, heavy hitter. So
It looks
that
like
means
I'll
that you're
have
not
to
going to be
train
doing
you.
really long and extensive combos.
Don't waste your breath.
Because you technically don't need to because you hit hard. Like, for instance, here's what a grapple is. That's not a grapple. That's not a grapple either. That's a grapple. Now, watch how much damage that takes off. It's just one move. Now, it's just one move. Please smack it. Oh my goodness, yep. See, and that's just one attack. So if you were to do an attack such as... Let's see, I don't really know any combos with Zangief. There we go. So that would be like a starter combo. And it does about that much damage. Now you see that stun going up? That's another thing heavy hitters, the brawler grapplers type do. They
It
do
looks
a whole
like
lot
I'll
of stuff.
have to.
One hit does pretty good. So that's another good one. So if you want somebody that does like big combos and stuff, these are not going to be the guys for you, but they make up for it in the fact that they can hit hard.
It looks
And-
like I'll have to train you.
Another minus is that they do have
Don't waste
all the
your
tools
breath.
in order to handle a situation, such as, oh yeah, yeah, he's chatty. He's chatty. You have to crown him in the brain. I should have chose somebody else who doesn't talk. All right, so we're gonna leave that at that for now. But another minus is that they do have all the tools that they need to handle a situation. Like Zangief has that. That's an air grab. So technically, if somebody comes in on me and is jumping, so they jump and I'm like, bam. So, but the bad news is that I can't just do that all willy-nilly, because you see how that leaves me open? Yeah. If an enemy like baits me for that, and I'm sitting in here in the air like gliding like that, they're gonna tear me up. So you don't want that. So the good news is that yes, I do have an anti-air. The bad news is that I have to be ready to use it. So, other than that, most of these characters, another good anti-air for him, Zangief in particular, is that if someone's jumping in on him, he can do this. Because it's going to take that first hit, and then you let it go. Other than that, I believe he can, I believe that, and that is light punch. If you light punch like so, but that takes a little bit of practice. But you will hit them as they're jumping in, and that would be your anti-air. So that's one thing about grapplers. Most of them aren't, if they don't have an anti-air, that's how they're going to anti-air. They're going to do it with a basic move, and you have to time it. Because if you do it wrong, you will get hit or you will trade with the other person. All right, so those are going to be your heavy hitters. Let me see. Where can we go? There we go. So, that's going to be at one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum, you are going to have what I would call your light hitting characters. And your light hitting characters are going to be the exact opposite of your heavy hitting characters. These are going to be characters that they hit light. But unfortunately, so let me reword that. Pretty much their single hits are weak. Like, you saw how Zangief's did damage, but his, like, let me show you. Let's see. We'll talk about him.
Akuma, you will feel my wrath.
And then let's put him up against somebody who's not chatty, so we don't have to hear that idle. Okay, he speaks. I can't remember who speaks. He does not. This one will give a whole speech if we let him, so no, we don't want that. Mizi Kage Chocolate. Welcome to the stream, Mezi. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll do this.
Kage.
So we can demonstrate what light hitting characters do. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, you guys. There are ads in this game, in case you didn't know. There are ads in this game. You can turn them on or you can turn them off, but you get a little bit of extra fight money for letting them play, so, you know, might as well let them play.
Mere puppet.
All right, so let's stop him from having a conniption fit. Slow it down, slow it down. All right, so look at that walk speed. Now the back speed goes back to normal, but that forward walk speed, like Zangief is moving like this, front and back. But bam. So, look at that. His strongest attack, like, it doesn't even do nearly as much as what Zangief did. Like, you saw what Zangief could do in one move. That's the equivalent of what I could do in one move. Or does not compare, right? So that's going to be one of your minuses for your light hitting characters. So that's going to be one of your minuses for the, let me see, come on.
Your heartbeat. I will stop it.
Right, this is not trying to work with me well tonight. Does it sound like he says chocolate? Huh. Yeah, what is it? I forget how you pronounce it. Let's see. It does sound like he's saying chocolate. Chocolate. It's because Akuma has a move that's got that same name. Okay, or not. They gave it a different name. But yeah. that's actually how you pronounce the move when he throws his red fireball. So yeah, it does sound like he's saying chocolate. All right, let's get back to the point. So yeah, that
Your heartbeat. I will
fast walk
stop
speed
it.
and then fast attack speed. So remember when I told you that Zangief's attacks come out
Got
slow
ya.
and then to normal. Light hitting character, completely different, right? So now the downside to that means that since your single hits are weak, you need to do combos to maximize that damage. Check that out. But look at what I had to do in order to get that. And look at what Zangief had to do in order to get almost close to that same thing. So yeah, that's going to be your difference between your light hitting characters. And those are going to be characters like Akuma right here, Kami, Ibuki, Kage right here, and Karin, Rashid, and Seth. Those are all going to be your light hitting characters. And these characters lack a regular attack that has armor or penetration. So Akuma has one, but it's a V skill. And now when he does that, if somebody hits him, then he could recover. So pretty much guard, armor, bam. Armor, attack. Armor, armor. Armor, attack. There we go. You have to hit the right button. So there we go. So normally that's what that does. But when he does that, he takes damage, but the damage will recover as long as he doesn't get hit. So, and one thing about and the other thing about this is that these guys have, especially this guy right here, he's got all the tools, every tool, in fact, that he needs in order to take care of a situation. So what I mean by that is his toolkit is, he's got the toolkits of a category we'll get into once we move past. Actually, we're going to go ahead and move past these two categories. So those are your two main categories. Those are your two ends of the spectrum. All of your other characters that I haven't mentioned so far fall in between these two extremes. So one of those smaller categories is the category of zoners. Pretty much you could break it down into two more categories. Like you can add zoners, and then you can add hybrids. And what hybrids are some sort of combination of any of the other three. So Akuma has zoning techniques. A zoning technique is something like this: fireball. So I'm controlling, this allows me to control any forward movement of this player. So that means they can't come forward at all, or else they're going to eat this fireball. Now, they can retaliate if they have a fireball of their own. And 9 times out of 10,
your heartbeat, I will stop it.
And so Akuma has different versions. So pretty much his, now not all characters function this way. His are the only ones that go different lengths depending on which attack button you hit. Then when he goes to the top business, he could do that. Then it's 2 hitting. That's 3 hitting. So yeah, he can answer that. He's also got anti-airs. Oh, can't hear me too well over the fireball? Okay, sorry about that.
Your heartbeat.
Okay,
I will
goodness.
stop it.
Yeah, that is kind of loud, isn't it? Okay. Okay, let me bring that down just a little bit more. Okay. Let me bring me up just a little bit more. There we go. Okay, hopefully that's not too loud.
I will stop it.
All right, so another thing of a zoner is that for the most part, they're going to have some sort of move that is an anti-air. Awesome. Thank you. That's what an anti-air looks like for Akuma. So if somebody jumps in, I break that out, I'm going to hit them. I can also hit people on the ground with it. So good for people jumping in. Let's see. So say this guy's jumping. These moves are built to catch people in the air. That's your medium one. That's your light one. Now see, your light goes around. So you kind of got to know your range for your moves and whether or not they'll hit. Because see, your light has a different property in that it doesn't quite catch. It'll go underneath. That's an interesting technique to know if you want to do something like so if you want to trade sides with somebody, but you got to be careful because you see how quickly they can trade sides or how quickly they turn. So if they're neutral jumping, which is what that's called when you just jump up like that, it's a neutral jump. If they see this move coming, it's kind of hard to get it to do it again. Now that I wanted to do it, it won't do it. If they see that move coming, they can jump out. They can pull out a move like just clock you right in the brain and it's over with. All that strategy, all that planning, gone. So, all right, Zelda, well, you know what? I hope you have a good rest of your shift. And I'll probably still be here trying to explain this horribly when you get done working. All right, let me stop him. Mr. Jumping Bean over here. All right, so one thing about your light attack characters, they normally have the tools that they need to handle in a situation just like your heavy hitters, but most of their tools are easier to use. This guy right here being one of the easiest. All right, well, may it go by fast. May it go by at the speed of an hour or, you know, hopefully 30 minutes. Let's go with that half. So that's one thing with these guys. Now, some of the combos are intricate. See ya. Have a good night. So, all right. So he's got zoning techniques. He can keep people out with that. He can catch people with that. He's got anti-airs. You know, he's got everything. He's got everything you need. He can even jump in and do something like that. Like, see, all combos. Very combo based. You have to time that one right. You used to be able to catch him. Huh, I guess not anymore. Huh, but yeah. Now, watch how much it takes for me to stun him. So that's another thing. It's taking, like, I have to go to work on this dude to stun him. Like, I had to go to work on this dude to stun him. So that's another thing with your lighter hitting characters. They don't have all that great a stun. Now, for these two guys right here, they're even more special because due to the fact that their combo potential is through the roof, they had to get nerfed in some way, shape, or form. So, as a result, Beavis and Butthead here have lower health than all the other characters in the game, along with Seth. I think Seth. No, Seth still has regular health. No, these two. These two have got the lower health, and they also, when they get hit, their stun meter builds up faster. So having this kind of power comes at a disadvantage. Now, these are the only ones out of your light characters, your characters that are your light hitting characters. So that leaves out Cammy, Ibuki, Karen, and Rashid. Like, they don't suffer this fate because even though they can lay down some mad combos, like, that's what they're supposed to be doing. Like, these guys are supposed to be doing the same thing too, but it's to keep them from just totally being able to just blow you out of the water. So that's how they're balanced. So like I said, less health. So that means you can only be hit so many times, less times than a heavy hitting character. And then you get stunned faster. So even blocking, your potential to stun is faster. So, all right. So those are going to be your two ends of the spectrum. And then what I was talking about in between, the first one that's in between are your zoners. Now, those are going to be characters like, we'll go back out to the select screen. I'll show you guys. Let me see. Let's go ahead and go back to the character select screen. All right, everybody give me one moment. We'll be right back. All right, my apologies. Having to take care of multiple things at once here. All right then. So, your zoners are going to be somewhere underneath your hard-hitting characters, and then in that their single hits hit hard. Like, their single hits hit pretty good. We would say they hit normal. They don't hit hard, but they don't hit light. They hit normal. And their walk speed is usually normal, but some do have a slow walk speed. A couple of them do. Let's see. Do any of our zoners have a slow walk speed? No, none of our zoners would. So no, technically none of our zoners have a slow walk speed. All right, so technically none of our zoners have a slow walk speed, but your zoners are going to be characters who's pretty much they've got moves that allow them to control a zone or area, like I said earlier before how I started. As a rule, most of them usually have some type of projectile that they can throw. But you got some zoners who also have the added benefit of ranged attacks. So say for instance, even though he's a light hitter, he's also a zoner. Even though he's a light hitter, he's also a zoner. Let's see. So your zoners that are not considered light hitters would be Ryu, of course, Ken, and then you're going to have Urien. And Urien actually, between Ken and Ryu, they zone through their pretty much the exact same way that you saw me zone with Akuma. They both have the same moves that Akuma has. And so they can zone the same way that he does, only they lack a fireball that can hit 3 times. They lack an air fireball, but other than that, they've got all the other moves. Urien is a completely different character. He's got his own set of moves. He works by zoning with a projectile. Like I said, most of your zoners have all your zoners have a projectile of some sort that they use. And he also backs his up with range. His kicks have really good long range. So that's good to know with him. Dhalsim is your king when it comes to zoners who use their pretty much zoning out an area. He also has a projectile, but his projectile goes upward, and that's his anti-air. But then he's also got all of his basic moves are pretty much ranged. Like this is the dude with the stretchy arms. That's why he's in that odd yoga pose. So he can throw his... Let's show you, for those of you who have never seen this character in action. And then I'll show you Gil.
The time has arrived.
All right. All right, so your other zoners are going to be, and I should have stayed on that screen, are going to be Falk, Sagat, Fong, and Guile. But here's what I'm talking about. He's very unique in the fact that he could do this. But as you can see, he doesn't zone by just using projectiles. But his projectile is an anti-air. Now, you saw Ken and Ryu's and Akuma's projectiles, and it goes forward. But for this guy, his arms are the projectiles. So, and that's pretty much how he moves. Now, Dhalsim is unique because as a zoner, most of your zoners usually have a normal movement speed. Dhalsim has a normal movement speed, but his jump is floaty. So as you can see, he doesn't jump high. He doesn't jump high. He doesn't jump up and down fast like a normal character. Now, why is that? Because that allows him to do things like... Remember, he's got stretchy limbs. His game is range. So it allows him to jump in and... As you can tell, this is not one of my characters that I play around with a lot. But that's how you learn. You just mess around, see what you can do and everything else. So his anti-airs would be something like that. Or you can just slap somebody when you're up close to him. Or sometimes it'll just go through him. Because the hit property, see the hitbox on that is small. And what a hitbox is for people who don't know, is of course your hit property. Because it's so small, for whatever reason, It's just not close enough, even though it looks like it is. So if I take one step forward, still not in range. Like, what the hell, right? Still nothing. Like, why is that not hitting? Then, now it hits. And why is that? Because that technically, if you do that, that's about your range. So that's one thing you want to use your training room for, is you want to learn little things like that. So like when you're in the middle of a match and then something like this happens, you're not sitting here going, what the hell, is this guy cheating? Or is he invincible? What the hell? You know, so yeah, that's how you learn little things. So, and that would be for anybody. So he's a tall character. So that's why you're able to hit him with that. But like if this character was like regular size, you would only be using this move as an anti-air. Then you can even anti-air like that if you're definitely sure they're going to come in. So yeah, different ways of doing things. But yes, a zoner's whole game is controlling your area. So this person can't move in forward while I'm doing all this. They wouldn't dare. They're going to get hit by something. And they definitely have to watch out for that if they try to jump over any of that. But as a minus, for Dawson, he's slow. So when I do these attacks, you see my recovery on them ain't the greatest. That only works on my close attacks, in which he does have a few of them, but those aren't his main attacks, as you can see. Now it's quick, but as you can see, it looks like I'm tearing him up, right? But what are you noticing? You're not seeing any numbers. So that means that that's not a true combo. So that means that if that guy were blocking, yeah, it ain't working. So, like I said, this is what you'll use the training room for. But yeah, so that's pretty much the general gist of your zoners. They're going to be more like that. They're going to be able to control their area here. And then they're going to be able to control their area in some way, shape, or form this way as well. So, those are going to be your zoners. Then after that, you go into your hybrids. And like I said, what your hybrids are they are a combination of the other two, of your two spectrums, or pretty much your other three, your heavy brawlers, your zoners, or your light hitters. So if you were, say for instance, interested in a brawler, but you want a brawler who can zone, who would you go with? Well, you would turn to, oh yeah, real fast, let me go ahead and show you guys the last of the zoners. So you would have Guile. Guile, where you at, partner? Where is Guile? Punk is hiding. There he is. Guile, he's going to be a zoner, and the way that he zones is, like I said, he's got that forward area covered through projectiles, and then his jump ins are covered through through his flash kick. And his whole play style is about literally defense. Like when you see a lot of people play Guile, they usually play him defensively. So, and that's because he benefits from that, because he is what you would call what you'll hear call a charge character. And what a charge character is it is a character that goodness. Let me see why my computer has just shifted into like 12th gear all of a sudden. Okay, that's not it. All right, reloaded. Okay. All right, there we go. There we go. Now this thing isn't in overdrive. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, everybody. All right, so back to our zoners. So he's more if you want to play defensive. He covers the same type of thing that everybody else, but he plays more defensively. Then you've got most people would think that Fong is not a zoner, but he is definitely a zoner in that he will meet he is that. Yes, I can finally see that now. Um what Fong will do is Fong is more about setting up instead of he's got projectiles, but his projectiles travel like Dhalsim's. They travel upward. Then he can also set down smoke clouds which act like barriers. And then his potential is more he leans more toward less of a brawler, more toward a light attacker. So he's more combo dependent, like, and he's got moves that allow him to get in and do combos. So he zones, but then he can also get in and do combos. The other guys can too, but he's more dependent on that. And out of the rest of your zoners, we got Sagat, the king of Muay Thai, ultimate zoner. He can zone with his projectiles. Since he's so tall, he's can zone from top to bottom. So how he zones is he could throw a projectile that's at his regular standing height, and then he can throw a projectile that goes at your feet as well. And so that allows him to mix up what he does as far as his forward control. His anti-air, he's got an anti-air. It looks just like Ken and Ryu's uppercut. The bad news is that the range on it is garbage. The person literally has to be right in your face, it seems like, in order to get it to crack off. Like the person has to definitely be trying to jump in on you in order for you to catch him. Unless you know a technique which is called Kara canceling, I believe that's how you pronounce it, into which you can extend his moves. So he has a bit of technique to him that he didn't normally have before. So that's how he zones. And then he can also rush in with his Tiger Knee trademark move. So that would be how he zones. But also Sagat is also one of the slower movers. He doesn't have he's got in between a slow and normal movement speed. Just depends on what he's doing. And he's also, because he's so tall, he's like Urian. Both of them have long reaching legs. And so that benefits them and when they do their basic attacks, because they can also keep people out with their long limbs. So they don't have the reach that this guy has, but they've got some pretty good reach. So you're going to have them. And then you're going to have, last but not least, you got Falk. And she's a zoner in that she has her projectile. She has an anti-air. And she's also, let's see, she's got both of those moves. She's got her anti-air, and but her projectile, she can do all kinds of things with her. She can launch it from jumping, like Akuma did his, like this guy did his. She can also launch it forward, but when she launches it forward, the person has to be close in for it to hit. Like, you don't just launch it and it'll hit the person like from a distance. But she has a ducking one that travels like Sagat's, that travels like his. And the lower one hits at the feet. So that's a cool little move that she's got. She's also got range with that staff that you see that she's got. That also gives her extra range. So she's like Urian and like Sagat. She uses, and the main extreme Dalsim, she uses range as part of her zoning technique. So those are going to be your zoners. Those are your zoners. So like I said, everything after that is a hybrid. So say for instance, you like a brawler, like you like all of that, you like to hit hard and everything, but you want to have a little bit of ability to zone. So you will go with somebody like Cody. Cody's got a good projectile. He can pretty much he pseudo covers it. You be quiet. YouTube is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Right? Oh, man. Okay. So I forget I can't laugh like that because when I laugh with my real laugh, it's kind of high pitched and it's hurting people's ears. Okay, so I can bring my volume down now. Let's bring the volume down now. Just a little bit. Okay. So he's got a projectile, but it doesn't go all the way across the screen. And then his style is more like a brawler. He's not very combo heavy, but the combos that he does have do some pretty good damage. So he zones. So his main shtick is he's a brawler that is kind of combo dependent, but he does have that ability to zone just a bit. His partner in crime, Lucia, is also pretty much the same way, only her projectile goes all the way across the screen. Her whole play style is kind of based around her projectile. She can do like some pretty cool tricks with it, like she can anti-air with it. Then she's also got another actual anti-air to back that up. So she almost would have been a zoner. Like I would have put her in the zoner type, but the only thing that keeps her from being like a genuine zoner is the fact that she's more combo dependent. And your typical zoner is not as combo dependent as she is. So that's why I put her in the brawler zoner hybrids category. Yeah, he ditched his prison stripes. He is now mayor. Hagar passed it on to him. So we don't know where the heck Hagar went. We don't know where he went. It still hasn't said it. But he left Metro City to Cody. So Cody is now mayor. But of course, if you're feeling nostalgic, we can always take it back. So pretty much for our other brawler zoner hybrids, we got Nakali. This guy is a brawler in that is and pretty much I should have put him into our. The only reason why I would say Nakali is a zoner is because he's got the anti-air, but he's got the anti-air. He doesn't have a projectile, but his body is essentially a projectile, and it's got armor. So pretty much he can use that to replace a fireball. So And his style is that he fights like a brawler. Not big combos, but he hits hard. So he hits harder than your light hitters, but not quite, like just slightly less harder than your heavy hitters. So he's pretty neat to use too, but you're gonna definitely want to get you need to be in close to get down with Nikali. Like he's dependent on being in close and at least being able to pull off what small heavy combos he does have. So then you've also got Mr. Miss Thing, Poison, and Shahi I put as a brawler zoner type because I'm sorry, I can't call her Poison a she. I always say, all right, he. If you guys know anything about Final Fight, you know all about Poison. So Poison is a he, damn it. So he is able to zone with that whip. Like this is something that is actually new. They changed the character completely from the way that he was in Street Fighter 5 and I mean excuse me Street Fighter 4 where less of a was supposed to be kind of like a I think like it was trying to be a zoner but it was weird. It was weird, but in this one it's definitely a zoner brawler type of play because definitely not a combo fiend. So you're not going to be doing big combos with him, but you are going to be able to zone the hell out of everything with that whip. And that whip, it not only zones forward, it zones down, and it zones up. So real good zone control. And then you're not going to be as reliant on combos, but you are going to want to get in and do those what little combos you do have for that extra damage. And actually, I kind of take that back. Poison and Lucia, if you set it up right, they actually do have some longer combo strings, but you have to know how to execute them perfectly. And if you drop them, it just messed the whole project up. But her and Lucia actually do have some pretty long combo strings that they have some longer, I should say, combo strings that they can do. But it requires use of V trigger and V skill. And in sometimes EX moves. So, yeah. Then you've got Charlie as a brawler zoner hybrid. And he zones with, he's actually like Guile. They both zone the same way with their projectiles, but Charlie, they call him Nash in this one. Started calling him Nash in the Japanese one, but originally this is Guile's friend from way back in the day. And they bought him back. But Nash is his last name, just like Guile is his last name. His first name is actually William. Yeah. No, no, no. Poison does not have a V to trigger, unfortunately. I'm sure he would like one. But they don't have those in Metro City yet. Next year. Next year. But yeah, so that's Charlie. He actually is, I guess you could say his brawler style is more of a hit and run type of a thing. Like his walk speed first and foremost is hideous. Like it's very very slow. It's the slowest that you could get. Him and Bison have the slowest walk speeds in the game. But it's all part of how these characters operate. Like it allows them to like literally be able to stop on a dime and go into a move. And his ability is well one of his V triggers is that he is super speedy. So he's got a good dash, but if you know anything about Nash, you know that that's how he's gonna move, how he's gonna play. Is he's a very stick and move type of character. Like he'll zoom in on you, do a quick combo, jump out, and then try and get back in on you, and trick you and stuff like that. So that's where his brawler zoner type comes from. So got him, and goodness. So pretty much we'd say Ed and call in. What I would do is go through why everybody is the way that they are, but trust me, we've already been at this for a good hour. Have we been at this for an hour? Yeah, over an hour. And you haven't seen any play. Well, not much play. So we'll just say that the rest of the hybrids include pretty much, okay, for the rest of your brawler zoner hybrids, you would have Ed, and then you would have who is in his Dimitri costume. Normally, he looks like this. So you're going to have Ed, and then you're going to have Gil's right-hand chick. Where's she at? Where's she at now? Colleen. And that's going to round out your brawler zoner hybrids. So as we're going tonight, when you see these characters, you're going to know what they are and watch for what they do. Then, of course, you got grappler zoner hybrids, which would be the guy who's going up for the Skullomania costume right now. Dude who looks like Abraham Lincoln, G. So he's a grappler zoner in that he's got moves that allow him to pseudo zone, but then he can also get in and do moves that lead to grapples. So him, and then Laura Matsuda. She's your other grappler zoner. Then you got light hitter zoner hybrids, and that's gonna be Sakura. It's gonna be her, Blanca, and Chun-Li. And what they're all going to have in common is that pretty much they do have abilities that let them zone, but then they also use light hit techniques. Like they'll use light hitter techniques. So like they all hit light, so they're going to need combos in order to help them out. But they all have ways to zone. And each of their ways to zone is different. And they can pretty much zone in the same ways, cover the same ways that your typical zoner would be able to cover. So that would be them. Then you've got your heavy hitter zoner hybrids, and that is Mr. M. Bison. And pretty much he's the other one with the slow walk speed, but he has no projectile. But how he zones is that he's got a V skill that allows him to teleport behind a person and attack them. Or if you throw a projectile at him, he can absorb it, or he can reflect it back at you. And when he absorbs it, then he can fire it back at you at will whenever he wants to. So technically, if you throw a projectile at him, then he can have a projectile to use anytime he wants to. So one-time use, though, and then after that, he would have to absorb another one. But he is more set up to work like a heavy hitter. He doesn't have super long combo chains, but his hits, his combos, the ones that he does have, hit hard, and then his one extended combo chain will murder you. So, but as a downside, he's slow. But just like Charlie, he's got a quick dash speed. So that's how they get in, like they're moving slow at first, and all of a sudden they dash in on you, and then they start beating you up real fast with their combos, and they dash back out, and then they bait you that way. So that's what you do with the M. Bison, although Bison, if he's triggered, Especially if he's V trigger one. Oh lord, he can his teleport because his forward dash looks like a teleport. It actually becomes a teleport. So it gets the properties of a teleport, and he can go to work with you on that one. So yeah, that's gonna be your heavy hitter zoner hybrids, and then your heavy hitter light hitter hybrids, which are going to round out the last of the people, is Vega. Vega actually starts out as a heavy hitter because he's got that claw on. So all of his attacks they function like heavy hits. They move slower, but they do more damage. And he can take those heavy hits and usually switch them into some sort of combination. So, that leads to like two, three, four, maybe five hits. So he functions more like a heavy character when he's got the claw on. But when he takes that claw off, he starts to function like a light hitter in that all of a sudden he becomes all about combos and setups that way. So it's really kind of cool to watch a good Vega that knows what they're doing. New challenges. And those are things that are in the game that you can do online. Um, it's really cool to watch a good Vega who knows how to play him because you'll actually watch them switch. You can watch them switch between heavy hitter and light hitter mode. Like some of the combos actually let him do that. So it's cool to watch, but you have to spend some time with Vega to get him down because other than that, you will get beat. Um, right here comes a new challenger. Yo! Next on that list would be Zeku. He's a heavy hitter, light hitter. I would have put him as a zoner, but this is the other character who, because technically he can zone, but so I guess you could say the reason why I didn't put him in there is because pretty much he has I guess you could say he's got an anti-air ability, but it's not as reliable as you would need in order to be considered a good zoner, like a true zoner. Um, and then he can keep people out vertically without a projectile. His kick is actually his pseudo projectile, so he can pseudo zone that way. But pretty much, you want to be doing combos. So that's where that light hitter hybrid part comes in at. It also comes in at on another part of him, but I'll tell you that in just a moment. Um, so that's where that light hitter comes in at, is that you will be doing combos with him, and usually they can be range from pretty short to about normal range, but he's gonna be switching between the techniques because as the Zeku you see here, old Zeku, he's more of a heavy hitter type of a character, more of a heavy hitter zoner type of a character. But then when he switches and turns into young Zeku, which looks like Strider Hiryu from the Strider games, he suddenly turns into more of a light hitter and he becomes more about speed and combos. So it's actually pretty cool to see somebody who can really play a good Zeku is good to see too. And Crow asked who Zeku was earlier. This is Guy's master from Final Fight. This is the dude who taught him, and Guy beat him. So pretty much he passed it on. Pretty much Guy is his successor, and in their study, Guy was supposed to kill him, but Guy chose not to, and Zeku had chose not to kill his master either. And so pretty much Guy is like the successor, and Zeku just kind of went off to, do his own thing because he didn't have to hold that title anymore. So you find out that he could have possibly been the person who taught the Striders how to fight. And then last, but certainly not least, we have Rose's protege, Minot. And she is a heavy hitter, light hitter hybrid. And where she's a heavy hitter at is that she is twofold in that she has that crystal ball, and she can throw that crystal ball, and she can throw the crystal ball as her regular attack, but then she can also launch the crystal ball and it'll go sit somewhere, and then she could call it back, and then it functions as an attack, or she can cause it to detonate, and if the character is near it, then they'll get hit by it. So when she's got the crystal ball with her, she functions like a heavy hitter. Her hits are slower, she takes more time to recover, but she's got awesome range, and so she's capable of zoning. Oh man, she do much with that crystal ball, and man, she zones really well. She can zone. She can anti-air with it. She can keep people from moving in forward on her, and then she can even hit low. But of course, anything you do with that crystal ball, like, she works like a heavy hitter. Unfortunately, her recovery is hideous. Now, when she launches the crystal ball, suddenly she starts functioning like a light hitter. But her downside is that how she functions like a light hitter is that you have to use combos that pretty much, you're like Vega. You stance dance. You're switching between using the crystal ball and then firing the crystal ball out, and then going into a combo and calling it back in. So she's another character that's really cool to see when somebody can play as her. Like, I like that character a lot. So that concludes all the characters and their types. So I know that was the long-winded version of it, but pretty much that's what you will go over in deciding what kind of character you want to play. So, say you need to learn combos. Well, head to the challenges, and what you want to do is you want to hit the trials. Now, pretty much these all come in different volumes, and the only bad news about trials is that they will teach you how to do the combos for any of the characters that you want. However, some of the combos are outdated and don't work anymore because they have since updated the game or changed properties of certain moves and such. So even when you go in, it'll tell you some combos or move properties in trials and demonstrations may be different from the current patch version of the game. So there's going to be some combo. Anytime you see that, that means that any of these, like that one, that one, that one, and even that one, I think they all just had that message. But yeah, like, some of the combos probably from this one and that one may not work in game, unfortunately. So, but this is what you would do if you wanted to go and learn the combos. You will go in here, choose who you want, and then you're going to come in and it's going to give you, this is a combo. Jumping hard punch, and then Jodan San Rengeki. Then there's this one. We'll show you what they look like real fast. But this is what you would do in order to learn your combos and learn what combos the character has. This will help you get a feel for your characters and for all the different characters and like how they move and their speed and such. So, say I don't go by moves. I usually go by display commands. Now, this is another thing I know that gets to people, is looking at Street Fighter commands. Because some of these commands, people are like, what in the heck? Some of them look like regular Mortal Kombat commands, but some of them don't. So this, for instance, is telling you, jumping heavy punch, you want to jump in with the heavy punch. So that's how you know you got it right, because it'll move on to the next one. Then anytime you see arrows, that means follow up with. Like, you want to start with medium punch, then you want to hit hard punch, then you want to hit hard kick. So you want to do. And what you want to do is kind of like chain it together. So you want to do pow, pow, pow. Or else, if you don't do it right, they're going to be able to block. So you want to pow, pow, pow. So the move would look like. So that's one. Now, you're probably looking at that going, what the hell is that? Is that like a freaking man symbol, or what's wrong with it? No, that means down, forward, punch. Or the way that it looks, down and then rotate to forward and punch. And what that move is so you just hit, you can hit down, forward, punch, down, forward, punch, down, forward, punch, down, forward, punch. Why isn't it working? Because connected, down, forward, punch. Hit down, roll to forward, then punch. Machine. Welcome to the stream, Dr. Swarzer's Green Bean Crit Machine. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, that's what that would look. So pretty much what this is teaching you how to do is that move right there. So this is going to teach you all the combos. And this is going to help you get a feel for how to play your character. You know, and how the characters feel. Move speed, different things of that nature. And so, yeah, that's how you would do down, forward, punch, then down, back. Like if you reverse that motion, is a hurricane kick. So Street Fighter has motions that are more like that, unlike Mortal Kombat, which Mortal Kombat usually just has what you like: high punch, high punch, high punch, back, low kick, down, heavy kick. You know, it might be something like that. Whereas Street Fighter would have down, forward, punch. You know, so you get used to it as you go. All right, let's head on back out to the main menu. So that covers working with combos. And then once you feel like you got your combos down, you know, and don't be afraid to write them down on a piece of paper so that you could take them into the next place that you're going to be spending a whole lot of time at. Training. You will be spending a whole lot of time here. We were already here earlier. We're going right on back to it. And this is where you can just come and just train with any character you want. So let's see. Ah, that is Blanca in his Negregante costume. So let's go ahead and start with the poster boy, who I have in his Jin Satomi costume. He's got a lot of costumes. We'll put him in his story costume.
Go beyond the battle.
And we'll put him up against his brother.
Hey, I was waiting for you.
So here's where we talk about V skills and V triggers. Now, yes, yep, he's got a Negregante costume. Pretty cool, huh? Ken. It's got that. Yep, so Monster Hunter has made his little appearance in this game. I think it's him, and I think I think this one here too. I think that's all she's got. And then who else had one? I think she's it. Does Cammy have one? Nah, but she's got Jill, member of Stars, and she's got Fiona. And then she's got her doll costume. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. So yeah. Oh, crap. No. All right.
Go beyond the battle.
All right, now, V skills. These are extra things that also define your character. So, and they're different depending on the characters. Does someone have an Onimusha costume? Someone might. And I'm not sure who it is, but I think someone might have one. I think. But when it comes to your V skills, some people, and this is the only thing that I hate about Street Fighter when they do, they need to drop doing gimmicks. Like with Street Fighter 3, it was the parry system, the universal parry system. And then with Street Fighter 4, it was focus attacks. With Street Fighter 5, it was the V system, V skill and V trigger. Pretty much this V trigger can be your comeback mechanic, depending on your character. For some characters, it's their comeback mechanic. For other characters, it's a hot pile of garbage. Ryu is one of those characters where it's a hot pile of garbage. Pretty much his V triggers allow him to either, for this one, he charges up and he can throw electric fireballs. His uppercut, his dragon punch becomes his anti-air I showed earlier. It becomes electrified, and his hurricane kick, which is the spin kick you saw him do, becomes electrified. But the power on them runs out super fast, so you only get to use it for like a limited time, and just when you're starting to get used to it, like, it's gone. So, you know, it used to be really good and it used to last for a long time, but then it got nerfed. So, and then this is strictly protection. Like, pretty much this is reminiscent of Street Fighter 3's parry system. You use this right when you think that somebody is about to attack you, so you block their attack, but then it comes with an automatic counter. So yeah, like I said, there's no comeback mechanic with this. There's something of a comeback mechanic with this, because then if you do his super move, it electrifies the super move and makes it stronger, and it travels faster. So, and if the person blocks it, it guard breaks them. So there's not a whole lot of moves in the game that guard break, which sucks. Like, you would have thought that if they were going to put that in, they would have had characters that could do that, but there's very few moves that guard break, and that's one of them. His V skills are more like little tools that you have that help you. We were just talking about Street Fighter 3's parry system. This V skill is essentially that. Now, the bad news is that it's the low rent parry. So after you use this parry, you can use the parry again, or depending on what kind of attack your enemy used, you may be able to counter attack them. But you have to be careful, because it depends on the move. If they use a move that's quicker than anything you've got, because remember, Ryu is not a quick hitter. Ryu is middle of the ground. So the your lighter hitters are going to be able to out hit him. They're going to be faster. So some of them are going to be able to, even though you've blocked that first hit, they're going to be able to hit you before you can counter. So yeah, that's the only thing that sucks about this. Shut up, Crow, because I know you're gonna go there. um, this move is like the parry, but it's only becomes active on the 10th frame. And I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about frames and stuff like that. Pretty much what frames are is how fast an attack comes out. So if something is 3 frames, that means the attack comes out in 3 frames. If something is 4 frames, that means it takes 4 frames for the attack to come out. So a 3 frame is going to be the 4 frame move. You know, just like a 4 frame is going to be the 5 frame move. Pretty much what this does is if you anticipate that an attack is coming, you would activate this. And if it catches, then it goes into pretty much like an automatic parry. And it's pretty cool when you can use it, but it's very, very, very fickle. It's very finicky, and it's different depending on what character you're facing. It takes on different properties. Like what worked on this character, when you could use it on this character, is not going to carry over to the next character. It's like each time is a new learning experience. So I tend to like this one because I can catch people off guard with it, because it's actually very good to catch in people who jump in a little too much. So I tend to like this one, and then I go back and forth between these two. But Ryu is usually the poster child, so we'll start with him, and then and then if anybody has any suggestions for characters that they would like to see, we'll go ahead and we'll do that. So we'll start with him. So Crow, if you have any suggestions for characters that you want to see, let me know. Because I'm going to go ahead and start getting into showing off the other things of this. We're actually going to get into the fights now. Do that until about 9 o'clock. Then we'll go ahead and wrap things up. His first episode was more the tutorial, less the fight.
There's no limit to one's strength.
Okay, there we go. So pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to come in here. Can't. Well, we know where your little nasty mind is at. This fool said gammy. Well, that depends. If your gammy is hot, then okay. I'm sorry, that just caught me off guard, man. Okay, we'll go get gammy. Oh dear Lord, somebody call 911. Cause I need some water and some oxygen after that. The grid. Spider arrow. All right. She got a whole lot of costumes, because the females in this game have costumes from here to Arizona. So I'm going to go through all of them. You're not going to be able to see them fully, but you could tell me which one you want to see. The duck lips never go away no matter what. They stay, unfortunately. Ass tie, that's not really a costume. And then you got your tracksuit. All right. Okay. Bam.
Be on guard.
All right, now her V skills are pretty cool. Now, this one is her spinning punch, which allows her to go through projectiles. It's very cool. It also allows her to side switch. Then Delta Drive, pretty much it powers up her spiral arrow and her cannon drill, where she could pretty much combine them together. So that one's pretty good. Spinning attack, you kind of have to know what you're doing with this. This one kind of reminds me of another character who's not in this game. His name is Adon. His Jaguar kick, but you could do it on command. And this is cool to have, but people can see it coming, and when they see it coming, they will blow you up. So this is more useful in my opinion, but to each their own. Just like with Ryu, most people will slap me all across my brain for using V skill 2, but I do, and it works for me. So, and then Delta Advance, this one is weird. This one a lot of people don't like, and it is odd as to how it works. But if you can get it, when you can get it to work, it is pretty cool. So,
I'm ready. Now begin.
she is ready. Now begin. And now a word from our sponsor, SFL Street Fighter League Season 3.
My mission is to...
All right, so as you can see, as the light hitter, as the poster child for the light, or one of the poster child for the light hitters, look at that walk speed.
I'm ready to start. Whenever you're
So
ready.
tell me I can't just walk in and tear somebody up. That's her spiral arrow. That's her air move. So this is what I'm talking about when I say as a light hitter, like she's got everything. She's got the move that can go across the ground. She's got her uppercut. So that's her anti-air. Then she's even got her, she's got her dive kick. But you have to be careful with that, because you have to be sure that you're going to catch somebody with that, because I don't know if you are safe on those. And that's what you're going to hear me mentioning a whole lot about. Attacks that are and are not safe. And what I mean by that is whether or not it's okay for me to be attacking or whether or not I should be blocking. So it's to say, like, if this attack is not safe, now after I do that move, I may have hit her, but now she could hit me back before I could hit her again. So that's a move that's not safe. You never want to do a move to where you'll hit them, but then they're going to be able to hit you back, or they're going to be able to set you up for a combo. That you don't want. Yes, that will protect you. And so, as you can see, she's got pretty good range with that kick. All right. So, I'm pretty basic with Cammy. I have not spent a whole lot of time with her in this game, but I played her ever since she showed up in Super Street Fighter 2. And so I know a little bit with her. So that's what her V trigger looks like. See how you can side switch with it? And she's all about being quick. And you can see her damage. See? That's what a heavy hitter can do. That's what a light hitter can do once they ramp all up and everything. And that's not even the pinnacle. You're going to see some people who can just do some even more miraculous stuff than that. That's nothing. You stop that. So yeah, like I said, this is where you're going to be coming, and this is where you're going to be like making sure that you've got all your combos down. So this is where you'll be trading at. And you can even set the dummy up to do different things. So you could turn it on to a CPU and fight like you're fighting the computer opponent. And you can control the level. Or you can make it player control so that if somebody else has a second controller, then you can have them control it. So it's like versus. Or you can actually record things and have the dummy play them out. So you could go back in and recreate scenarios that maybe you saw in one of your matches, and so that you can learn how to beat it. And that's where you would normally go in and you would normally set that up. So let's see if we can get to some learning. So, Street Fighter. If you want to do anything in this game, you can play the arcade mode. But the biggest draw that was supposed to be the thing about this game was the online mode. And the online mode is pretty much where you keep seeing that bronze and stuff like that. Like, that's what bronze means right there next to my name. So that's my rank. So the objective is the more fights you win, the more points you earn. More points you earn, the more your rank goes up.
I'm ready to start.
And the ranks go up pretty darn high. The points go up pretty darn high. So pretty much that's your incentive to play. And you have a bunch of different people who, play a bunch of different ways. You have some people who are character specialists who pick one character and stick with that character always. And then you have some people who like to play multiple characters who are like me. I like to play multiple characters. So, online can be a mixed bag, because when you're online, it's not all smooth and nice as if you were playing a regular match sometimes. Sometimes, we're going to go with her Jill costume.
I'll be on guard.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this on a casual match. Casual match means that we don't sacrifice any rank. Pretty much we're just going in just to practice. Now, the bad news about casual match is that a lot of bad elements like to hang out here, but we'll talk about that while we're waiting. A lot of cheaters and a lot of people who are what they call Smurfs like to hang out there. And what a Smurf is it's a person who is actually a higher rank, and they've come back to the lower ranks or created an account that's lower rank for the sole purpose of messing around with lower level players and pretty much making the game hell for them. So that's why a lot of people don't like to use casual. And apparently he did not want to fight me. So that's why a lot of people don't like to use casual. A lot of people like to just stay with ranked. But if you ask me, it's a mixed bag either way. Like, you can, what you're going to find in casual, in my opinion, and in my experience, what you find in casual, you'll 9 times out of 10
Time for battle.
find it in rank too. But the only difference with ranked is that in ranked, you can move away from that eventually. But for these low ranks, it's kind of a cesspool. And this game is 4 years old, so we do have to take that into account as well. All right, and so we're going up against Guile. So what did we say about Guile before? Guile is one of our zoners. So you're going to see how he zones. So I'm a light hitter. So this match is already in his favor, just because of the way he plays and the way I play. So, or the way this character plays, I should say. All right, here we go.
Round 1. Fight.
as you can see, he's actually not doing a good job of zoning at all.
You got nice
He's doing none of that right now.
Round 2.
He's actually being more aggressive. See? Anti-air. That's how those work. Oh. Miss. All right. So we're going to ask the main question. What in the hell did I do wrong there? We'll let this go ahead and load. And should I fight him again? Well, let's fight him again. And let's see if I can capitalize on that. I don't have time to explain, but I really kind of wanted to. Now, his first mistake is that he's jumping in too much. He's being predictable. So, like, the technique is telling me that he's new. And that's her moves with her V trigger.
Mission complete.
Round 2. Fight. Right there.
Don't ask me what that was. Miss. All right, this guy is throwing out so many moves.
Final round. Fight.
Now, if I knew my Cammy better, I would know how to stop him. But how do we stop somebody who's doing this? Got him.
You win.
Now, how did I get back with him? See, it's like I don't have time to like explain everything. Like, let's go get him again.
Round 1. Fight. Right there.
So now we kind of got his method down. See, through a projectile.
Round 2. Fight.
Get him. Now you kind of have to angle that, right? Wrong. Incorrect. He might have. And actually, no, it was Sonic Boom. No Sonic Booby. All right, now. With that having been said, what happened? So let's go back and let's take a look at that. And we'll see what it was that happened. Now, remember, I told you I'm I'm not a Kami specialist by any means or anything like that, but let's go back and let's check what happened. We have a nice little feature where we can do that in this. All right, so we can go back and we can actually watch our replay. So let's see this replay where I lost. So this is how you learn, because most people ask, okay, how the hell do you learn? Like how do you do replays? And, you know, what's the purpose of watching replays? Well, here's what you do when you watch a replay. Look at it and see where you went wrong. Now, I was able to do that on the fly, but when you don't have that kind of skill yet, this is how you gain it. So I come in.
Round 1. Fight.
Okay, now right there, where you saw him, rewind it. See, now right there, there's certain signs that were telling me that this guy is literally, like, you could just look at his lack of coordination. Like, he's literally just throwing moves out. But the funny thing is that he's throwing out all the right moves. Pretty much he thought that's a good straight move, that's a good lower move. And then that's the ultimate counter. So as you can see, Guile is good at blocking you with his kick. So that's what that flash kick is for. That's his anti-air. So once I saw that, and I saw the way that he was just like throwing out random moves like that told me he didn't have any coordination. But just because he didn't have any coordination didn't mean he wasn't dangerous, as you could see. So what do I do about that when I know that this guy is just going to throw out random moves? I start waiting to see what move it is, because eventually he's going to throw out. Remember when I was talking about moves being safe and unsafe? Eventually he's going to throw out a move that's unsafe. And every time he throws out a move that's unsafe, you're going to see me counter it. See, that was unsafe. Now, that was unsafe of me, and I didn't know that. I learned. That was unsafe of him. See, shouldn't have been trying to jump. See, I knew he was going to start trying to jump a lot. That's one thing you don't want to do. Now, see, even at this point, I was still not sure if this guy was actually serious. So you see, after a while, I start to get the hang of it to where I'm like, okay, this dude is just literally throwing out random stuff. See, baited that. Show it to you again. See, pretty much. And you'll hear people talk about that. This is what you call, you'll hear people call it a shimmy. What a shimmy is pretty much it's where you bait somebody to do a move and you bait them by moving in to make them think you're going to come in to get them. And then you move back out at the last minute to either block the move entirely or to miss the move entirely. In any case, it puts you at advantage. So that's why I walked and then I went back because I knew he was going to do that. And then I missed because I had the damn thing in reverse. And as you can see, just from those moves, now you can see all the tools that Guile has in order to be able to zone. But he is what you call a charge character. So a lot of his moves, like in order to throw his sonic boom and in order to do his flash kick, those are what you call charge moves. So you have to hold back for so long and then you hit forward and punch to do the sonic boom. Then you have to hold down and then up to do that flash kick. So keep that in mind when you see people just pulling off moves, like when you just see a flash kick come from out of nowhere and that person was not ducking at first. Yeah. So then what happened here? You know, like, did I pass the controller to my friend? Like, what happened? Like I said, pretty much I took everything from that. I saw he was just throwing out random moves. So pretty much I had to reach all the way back to what little Cammy skills I do have. And I had to say, all right, let me wait my turn when it's time for me to wait my turn, which is what you'll learn. And then when it's my turn to go in and attack, I'm going to go in and attack.
For those who I wish to protect, I will
but I'm going to let
fight
this dude make all the mistakes because he was making plenty of them. So this is where I started checking all his stuff that was unsafe. Unsafe. I'll show you again. That jump in was totally unsafe. Shouldn't have done it. That was unsafe. You were nowhere near me. See, as you can see, like he's not getting any combos, no nothing. He's just getting random hits. See, now he was quick enough to get me with that. Even though he was hit, like my recovery wasn't good enough. You'll see it's just fast enough. See, that was a good corner escape. I'll show it to you again. Because if he would have trapped me in that corner, properties change a little bit when things get in the corner. So you don't want to get trapped in the corner. See, that was unsafe. Had to correct that. So that's what I started letting him do. Do his, just everything he was doing that was unsafe. That was the only way I could go at it. And you'll find that that's what you need to do as you play. See, like I said, I'm not a Cammy expert by any means, but I'm still trying to figure out what that was all about right there. Like, have you ever seen that before? It was like the move just canceled. Like, she has no move that, like, that move is not supposed to cancel. Ow. So as you know, my leg. Because this is that match where he came and he just went to getting real random on me. And I was actually trying to do, as you can see, my stuff kind of went wrong there for whatever reason. But at that point, I was actually trying to go do a cannon drill for whatever reason. She was like, let me jump up in the air and extend my leg out. Meanwhile, guy was like, got your groin.
Final round. Fight.
So as you can see, as a light character, as a character who uses light attacks, you see how much work I had to go on with him. And you see how easy it was for him to get on me. And that's how you get them. And that's how you use your replays, like, and go back through them, like everything. So pretty much that's how we got with him. And you'll learn to be able to do it on the fly, like I did, where I looked right at it and I was like, that's what I'm doing wrong and that's what I need to do. Now, in some cases, it's not going to be as obvious what it is that you need to do. So all you could do is watch your replay, and unless you know that you had like bad lag or something that match, like look at what it was that the other character was doing, and look at what you were doing either in response. You know, try to figure out, was that character doing something in response to you, or were you doing something in response to them? If they were responding to you, what was it that you were doing that was causing them to respond and win? If they were responding to you, once again, you know, what was it that you were doing that was causing them to win when it should have been your response and you should have got them? So just like when you just saw me watch those matches, like what was it between the first two that was different? So that's how you use that. So that's one. All right, you'll be able to catch that, you know, like if a person is doing something too much, like that's one thing you never want to do. That's why you didn't see me doing a whole lot of jumping. But with certain characters, you can do a whole lot of jumping because you've got moves that help make it safe to jump. So as you can see with Cammy, she's safe to jump with that kick of hers. So, all right. And I know that this sucks, everybody, that this was kind of like more of a, like this was the full tutorial version. Like we only got like one fight in, but let's go ahead and let's get us another fight. We're going to keep it moving with Miss Cammy. And we'll do another casual. And then for our next show, depending on how this one goes, hopefully this one does well. Hopefully people were interested in this. Next show, we'll just get straight into the battles and then we'll analyze afterward. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? Then we'll move on to the next match. And trust me, you're going to see, as you can see, I'm not perfect. Now I'm dealing with a light hitter zoner hybrid. So that means that I need to watch out for her trying to set up combos on me. And I need to watch out for her ability to zone. and she zones like Akuma does. So she's got that forward moving fireball. Her uppercut moves
Pleased to meet you.
horizontally. You'll see it. And then her hurricane kick moves in an arc.
For those who I wish to protect, I will fight you.
Round one. Fight.
Hadouken! Hadouken! Zeta! Okay. Hadouken! Hadouken!
And this dude, I can tell you right now, this dude is not a rookie.
Ship out!
That's why he's got a thing named Just Blacklist Me.
Ship out! Spiral arrow!
So now I don't know why this guy is just standing here. Like, what is up with that? See, that's her uppercut. So now we kind of got some shenanigans going on here. I know you guys can see that lag real strong.
Round two. Fight.
And next time I do this, I'm going to actually do it at a lower thing.
Do it if I were you.
Why would I give up? You're the one who's sitting here. You're the one who's sitting here in casual. Talk about just blacklist me. How is this any fun for you, partner? And that's actually what you call poor sportsmanship, which you will see a lot in this game. And I'm sorry that you guys are seeing this look hideous. Like, yeah, I'm going to have to turn my, my settings down next time so you can see this. This is actually moving fine on my screen for the most part. So, yeah, that's what you'll see a lot of in casual. So that's why nobody really likes to do casual, is because you get people that are doing things like that. I almost want to reset this. So it's too bad I can't change these settings on the fly. Crap. Okay, well, we'll know it for next time. We'll know it for next time. So anyways, yeah, you'll deal with things like that. So people really, this is how people get down. This is how people get their S's and G's off. So you will encounter that. So be prepared. Be prepared for all you new people who are coming in and learning this game and stuff, like, and be prepared for a whole lot of that. So usually when I deal with somebody like that, I just let them go on their merry way. Like, because unfortunately, if you take a game where it's just like any other game, you know, there are online shenanigans. You know, you do have bots in this game. You do have cheaters in this game who are using, you know, macros or you know, turbo controllers or modded controllers. Like, you know, you've got cheat. It's just like any other thing. It's just like a first person shooter. You know, you're going to have the cheaters. But I've often wondered why there are cheaters in fighting games, because the whole thing about playing fighting games is like learning how to play your fighter and like becoming good with your fighter and things of that nature. But you know, when you have to cheat in a fighting game, it's like that means that genre is not for you. Like, if you have to cheat in a fighting game, then that's like saying that, goodness, I can't even liken it to something. That's like saying, oh goodness, I can't even liken it to something. Like, because it's so easy. Like, it's one of those things to where it's like, if you have to cheat at a fighting game, then you might as well just not even play, because you're missing the entire point of playing the fighting game to begin with. Now, some might say that same thing about first person shooters, but for first person shooters, I can understand that entry level thing. I don't believe in cheating in any game. So, you know, I wouldn't even cheat in a first person shooter. I would have to start the game on day one though, because coming in later, once everybody has learned the rules and stuff like that and the mechanics and the physics and everything, and you're coming in with your noob tail, and next thing you know, you're just getting smashed. So, that leads to cheating. But in a game like this, there's no need for it. Like, part of it is being able to play a character by yourself without help. So hopefully this here episode was a help to somebody out there or anyone out there. That's pretty much the general gist of the characters. That's pretty much a general gist of how to use things, how to get around in this game. I don't know if enough people like this, then I'll go ahead and I'll do this again, and we'll continue on and just pick up from, playing matches and then analyzing them, going through the different characters, seeing what different options they have available to them. As you can see, Cammy, from being light light attack and a light hitter, as you can see what resources she had available. But then you see what resources she didn't have available. You see in those moments where she got beat, and when she would go for a move, her moves would get beat, so we'll see. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead and hush my mouth and get on out of here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And like I said, if y'all like this, let me know. Let me know, and I will continue it. And I will continue it without the laggy version that you guys had to see, because I got to see a good sharp version, but you guys got a little bit of lag there. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead, wrap things up. Thank you, Crow, for coming to the stream and checking things out. Thank you very much to our other people who dropped in. Dr. Schwarzer's Reen Bean Crit Machine, thank you very much for coming through. And then Zelda, thank you very much. And then Mezzi, thank you very much for coming through. And to all of those of you who came through and didn't say anything or didn't log in, thank you all very much. We'll catch you next time. I'm Paper Zombie, and I'll see you. Good night.